Present.
Trustee Jenkins Bell,
Present.
Trustee Franklin,
Present.
Trustee Bolden,
Present.
Trustee Lewis,
Present.
Mayor Rudez.
Here.
Would others in this meeting please announce yourselves, please?
This is Attorney Joe Miller.
Okay.
Village Manager Ernestine Beck Fulgham.
Cecilia Kelly.
Right before we proceed, I'll read our disclosure.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Village Clerk D. Jones, I'm present.
All right. Pursuant to Governor Pritzker's Executive Order 2020-07 COVID-19, Executive Order number 5, which suspends the requirement of the Illinois Open Meetings Act requiring in-person attendance by members of a public body during the duration of the gubernatorial disaster proclamation. The members of the village board will not be physically present for the designated board meetings, but will instead be participating in the meeting through audio access using a virtual meeting platform. Public comments may be submitted in advance of the meeting to Village Clerk D. Jones at university-park-il.com or by text message to the Village Clerk at 708-473-6201. All comments must be received by 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. Are there any general public comments?
Yes, sir.
Wait, let me go back. I'm sorry. The purpose of this meeting is a public hearing, and this is an ordinance adopting the budget for all corporate purposes of the Village of University Park, Will and Cook Counties, Illinois, in lieu of the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on the first day of May 2021 and ending on the 13th day of April 2022.
And Mayor, may I add something, please? Just in accordance with the executive order that Mayor Rudez has read earlier, and I know there's some confusion in regards to the governor's orders, but Mayor Rudez determined that due to the disaster there's still prevalent disaster occurring in the Village of University Park. Therefore, the need to continue the remote meetings extended through tonight's meeting. That's all. It's it's the governor's disaster declaration, and the head of the public body has to also determine that the disaster still exists. I mean, obviously, you know, we've talked about deaths in the community, so that's clear that it exists, but it's now kind of a two-part thing. So I just added that to it.
Thank you, Attorney Miller.
Mr. Mayor, may I be recognized for a question from Mr. Miller?
Sure, Trustee.
Attorney Miller, even though it had been pushed, or the mayor had it pushed for tonight's meeting, the concern that I have is that we were told that we would be back in live person, and the residents are indeed seeing us have events, golf outings, and so on and so on. Wouldn't that contradict of what's going on? And if I'm not mistaken, 90 Town Center is ready, and if it's not, it should be, because the only thing left was a bathroom. So how does that, with this order, because there's some conflict into that.
Well, remember, so your golf outings and things of that nature are not subject to the Open Meetings Act. So the governor's disaster declaration. So if someone wants to have a golf outing, that's their choice. I would also differentiate between an outdoor event, a golf outing, compared to an indoor meeting. So that would be, you know, I think that's an important distinction to make. So like, for example, if you look in the state of Illinois, for high schoolers for the upcoming year, I'm just using this as an analogy, outdoor sports don't have to have a mask on. So if your son or daughter plays football or soccer, they won't have to wear a mask, but indoor sports have to wear a mask. So the state has clearly recognized that there's a little bit of difference between having an outdoor event and an indoor event. The other part of it is that most of the mayors and the heads of a lot of the boards What they want to avoid, quite frankly, is they don't want there to be an outbreak being tied to their board meeting. So I would say that right now, and I understand what you're saying, if someone has a golf outing or you guys do something, but generally speaking, not everyone on the village board is required to be there. And those are probably, the golf outings are outdoor events. This village board meeting is an indoor event, but the law does allow it. Sure, you're going to find some contradictions everywhere, just because there are going to be certain events that are going to be held outdoors. The town I live in, they had the travel team, and my sons are out of it, but they had a baseball tournament, and there were a lot of people at the baseball tournament. But it was an outdoor baseball tournament, and they were there kind of to support the kids and things of that nature. But once they get to the meetings, they're doing the meetings remotely. So yeah, are there some contradictions? Yeah, you're probably going to find some. That doesn't, but it still gives the right, the head of the public body, because clearly we all know that the Delta variant has kind of taken hold. Does that, the way the law was amended last year does give the right to still continue it, since we are still under a disaster situation. I know that, I don't know if that answers your question, because it's a hard, there's really no right or wrong answer. Some people are going to be like, well, we thought we should be in person. And I guess that they can have that opinion. And some people are going to be of the opinion, you know what, this COVID-19 is continuing, and it may be, the precaution is to have the meetings remote still, so that we can at the very least not have people contract COVID at a village event.
Well,
There are a few.
But would we be able to, could we do it like this? Could we have a board meeting where there is social distancing and that there is a limited number of residents inside our facility?
You can set up rules of that nature, but that's really a board decision, not a Joe Miller decision. But yeah, if the board wanted to set up something in regards to it, now I caution you, so if you're going to limit it to 25 people, what 25 are going to be in there, and how are you going to limit it, and things of that nature. I would be leery about that, just because you're going to have some people who feel that they were, left out purposely, or they should have been allowed in. And I definitely don't agree with something where you're rotating 25 people in and out every hour or something, because you're just essentially, you've turned that 25 person thing into like a 75 person thing if it goes 3 hours. But that's you guys' decision as a board. The statute as it's currently written does give the mayor the authority to continue it as a remote meeting. There was actually, there was some debate amongst the attorneys. And then there was even another thing out today that clarified that most of us believe that the head of the body deems it appropriate due to the disaster declaration, you continue remote meetings. But I will tell you, I do have some places that they're doing in-person meetings. The majority are still doing remote. So that's why I said there's no right or wrong answer.
And Trustee Brooks, and just the good thing is, the good thing about everything, the business still gets taken care of. We'll get back inside.
Well, and saying that, because
we still are on the agenda, because we haven't even got to the general public comments.
Yes, we are, right, because we are, and I know it's a public hearing about the budget, and my email is bombarded with residents who want to be involved. They were not in the Zoom. So, I mean, the only right thing that I feel is to put a motion on the floor to ask that we be in recess of this meeting until at least the 19th, when there are some safety protocols and we are able to meet in 90 Town Center or the golf course, and that McFadden and her finance committee at least had one conversation about this budget. I just put a motion out there on the floor.
I second it.
Second. I
Mr.
have a
Brooks,
question. Can I ask
Trustee-
a question, please?
Yeah, it's nonsense. This is a nonsense. We got
I
business.
just want to ask the question. The question that I'm having and the problem that I'm having with this is that during the swearing in, we went to the golf course and we did it there. And, you know, we social distance and followed the guidelines and different things like that. Now, one thing I am not going to do, I feel as if we are suppressing people's rights when it comes down to this. And I don't want to be a part of it. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I just did not. And this is what it feels like. It feels like a dictatorship. And I am looking at this situation and I'm saying to myself, what are we going to do? How do we hear from our taxpayers? How do we hear from our residents? How? And then they have a limited, you can send in the email. And then I'm sitting here reading the emails. One of the emails didn't come in early enough. So it's going to be not read or whatever. So my thing is this, how do we run a community like this in good conscience? Now, I understand COVID is going up. The variants are going up. I understand that. But if we can have what do we have? A live in-person town hall meeting, why can't we set one board meeting up like that? I mean, we can think outside the box. And then if we did it then, why can't we do it now? Now, the problem that I'm having with this also is that we told the residents that we were going to do it in July. And then we did not give them any warning. We didn't tell them. We didn't tell them it was, we didn't acknowledge what we told them we were going to do. So now it looks like we liars. So this makes absolutely no sense to me. This makes no sense. I understand the head is the head, and I respect that. But we also need to respect the taxpayers that's going to allow us to fly in the sky for the $1,900 increase on all of the, all of that stuff that's going on in the budget. Now, this is ridiculous. It's a mess. It's a true mess. And if to sit quiet and not say anything is to be part of it. But it will be on the record that I said something. And I'm
Thank you, Trustee. And Trustee Brooks, and we're going to move forward because, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
I would just like to ask Trustee Brooks if he could put his motion in writing and email it to me or state it now so that I can write the motion just as he's making it.
And Trustee Brooks, you say you talk to me all the time, and we could have had this conversation before the meeting instead of to the public.
No. Every time I call you, no, we're not gonna do that, Madam Clerk.
I call you on numerous occasions.
No.
Every time I call, it goes to clock.
Madam,
so I don't have the respect.
Madam Clerk, here we go. Motion to recess this meeting, this public hearing until August 19th.
Hold up, I'm not taking short.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Motion to recess this public hearing
until August 19th. In person.
I'm sorry.
In person. After safety COVID protocols are made.
So, yeah.
Whether 90 Town Center or the golf course. I also included.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
COVID-19 protocol are in place.
And the Finance Committee, along with Trustee Liaison McFadden, have met to discuss this budget.
But
and I'll email it to you, Madam Clerk, just if you want it, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I got the motion, Trustee Brooks. I didn't get the name of, I couldn't tell if it was Jenkins Bell or McFadden who seconded. Who seconded that motion?
It was Jenkins Bell.
Okay, so let me discuss a few things with you guys, because you guys have brought up some things, and I think, that I think it's important to note. The amendment to the act, to the Open Meetings Act last year was, in part because of this. So I don't want, because I know there may be some members of the public here now, and what I would say is that I don't think 2 months ago, or let's say even 3 months ago, because maybe it was in the May meeting that you guys talked about, or
June.
Yeah, in the June meeting, I don't think there was a realization of how prevalent or how the numbers were going to rise in regards to this Delta variant. So the only thing that I would tell you guys as board members, that I would counsel you to, if someone is approaching you saying, well, you said it was going to be in July, you were going to do in person in July and you didn't, is that, everything is subject to what happens with the COVID numbers. And at the time in June, you weren't aware of what was going to happen with that. So if you guys as board members, and I think the public is listening right now, and I know some people in the public may, we can all agree to disagree, and some people don't agree with me, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. Is that what I tell all of my other boards is that, everything is subject to change due to the nature, because we're in a once in 100-year situation. So I can't, there are no promises. You try to, but that is what it is. I can't speak to is whether or not the finance committee or the financial budget committee, if they were able to meet by Zoom or something of their nature. But I would say that, there are ways to try to get the business done. And maybe an option is we try to do it so that I think they're listening to this live stream right now. So, they may not be able to speak at public comment, but they're able to submit and actually listen at the same time. So that's all. I just want you guys as board members to know that, unfortunately, this is a situation that none of us has ever lived in. And so we are trying to adjust as best as we can. And that amendment to the statute is trying to, exert something to give you some flexibility so that you're not putting your own health and safety at risk. But that's all I have to say. I'll let you guys discuss the motion that's out there.
Okay, there's a motion, and there's a motion and a second on the floor.
Thank you, Attorney Miller. I think your point, and if we make the effort, that's all we're trying to make. The effort. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second on the floor, Madam Clerk. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
I just wanted to piggyback on that as far as the golf course being a site for the meeting as it was for the swearing in. Let's not remember that it's now golfing season. With the golf course being open, it might be a bit difficult to hold a meeting while golfers are coming in and out of the pro shop. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Are they usually full by 7? Anybody there by 7? They've been pretty
We
empty.
know golfers normally golf until you can't be outside.
Not Deer Creek.
As long as they can follow that ball, golfers are out there golfing. I was just wanted to throw that in, how the golf course may or may not be an option for in-person meeting.
Yeah, as long as we make the effort, because the pressure is on.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's proceed, Madam Clerk.
Roll call?
Yep.
Okay, this is to recess this meeting, so I'm sure. Motion to recess this public hearing until August 19th in person after safety and COVID-19 protocol is in place. And the Finance Committee, along with Trustee McFadden, have met to discuss this budget. Okay, roll call. Trustee McFadden.
Present.
No, we're voting.
Oh, we're voting, I'm sorry, both
It's
sides.
Trustee Brooks,
Votes aye.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Both aye.
trustee Franklin. Trustee Franklin,
Both side.
trustee Bolden,
Votes aye.
trustee Lewis,
Votes aye.
Mayor Rudez.
Vote no.
Okay, the motion to
Suspend the public hearing.
recess to
Yeah.
dispense did pass 6-1.
So that means essentially, the public hearing will have to be held. We'll have to, you won't have to do a new notice, but unless it's going to be more than 30 days, but there was a date noted in the motion. If you're going to have the public hearing on that date, just put in up a notice on that day for that meeting. If it's going to be continued for more than 30 days post that, then I would say we do a new hearing notice.
Okay. Okay,
Just need a motion then to adjourn the public hearing.
that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, who was the seconder on that?
Jenkins Bell.
Okay. Okay. Trustee McFadden.
Present.
Oh,
No, this is to,
To adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn,
Miss,
okay. Both sides.
trustee Brooks,
votes aye.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Votes aye.
trustee Franklin,
Both side.
trustee Bolden,
Votes aye.
trustee Lewis,
Votes aye.
Mayor Rudez. Mayor Rudez.
I think he's muted.
Vote aye. Vote aye.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so this meeting is adjourned at 6:59 PM.
Ms. Jenkins, do you want us to stay in this link or go to the other link for the meeting?
Go
next
to
meeting?
the other link. I just sent it to you.
Okay, I have you sent it earlier and I have that. So I just want to
Yeah.
make sure.
While you all were in this
Okay.
meeting, I put it on the top.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll need about 5